super exciting news. So our addition finally got shelled out, and what I'm gonna do is walk you through that and then talk about some of the plans that we have and what we're gonna build next in there. All right, so let's go in. Here we're just walking through right on the main entrance, and this is this 2,000 square foot addition that we have built out here. Really great looking bay windows all along, huge living room area. And on the left here, well, first there's Hannah, but then we have this whole room, just a shell. And then on the opposite side over here, about the same story, have our little office desk right here for now. There's V, but just another shell. And that's actually what we're gonna talk about today. All right, so now that you've seen the tour of the shell and the addition, what we're gonna go over is how we're building walls in this room right over there, and what we're planning to do, how to build those walls, as well as what our ideas for that room is. So that's what we're gonna hop into next year. All right, V, so give us the rundown of what's going on in this room.
All right, so this is the east wing of the new addition. We're going to actually have a 48-inch hallway right here. And then to the right side, we'll have a nice walk-in laundry room for the upstairs. And in this section, we're just going to build a guest bedroom. And then facing this way, this will be another master bedroom. So we haven't exactly came up with the plans yet, but we'll have bathroom, closet, and your bedroom.
Since we're working on this side, can you tell me what we're doing specifically, or what we're doing today?
Yep, so we'll be framing walls today for this side. We have our laser lined up. We're going to be using this as a guide, as you can see on the ceiling. Now we're going to use our 2x4s and attach it to the studs, which we already marked. This is going to secure it to the top of the house. Makes it super secure. That way when we do put our wall up, we have something to nail directly to.
So as you saw, we just finished installing the first top plate, and now I'm going over how we're actually marking and what you're supposed to do when you're installing the king studs or the common studs. This is 15 1/4 for this line, and this is 16 3/4. So per code, you're supposed to put a common or a king stud every 16th. Well, you're supposed to put a common stud every 16th, and that's what we're just measuring out here. So we've already done that throughout the whole bottom and the top plate. We've already measured all that. And there's one more thing I want to talk about. I've been mentioning the jack and king stud here. So here, jack stud, we have a mark J, K for king stud, and then there's going to be a door here. So what that basically is the king stud's still going to run from the very bottom of the bottom plate all the way to the top plate. But for this jack stud, we just have it measured here. That way we can have the door frame and the supports all measured out. All right, now we have all the studs cut out as well as it just lined up. None of these are installed yet, but I wanted to show you what it looks like just as far as the mock-up for all these. All right, now for the specific install here, we're using a close-up shot. This is, like I mentioned, not installed. But what you'll want to do is line this up in the center or between these two, like we mentioned before. Now that I have it straight, I'll be using a framing nailer and shooting 2 nails into it. One at the top here, not exactly right here, but just one at the top and one towards the bottom. Now that this one's installed, we'll just keep on moving down the line and installing the rest of the studs on the bottom and the top, and then it'll be us putting the wall up. So as we are finishing up nailing these into place, you can see there are gaps here, right here. So clearly that's about a 1/4 of an inch gap. And the way we're gonna mediate this, or the way we're gonna fix it, because you do want everything plumbed together, is just by using a clamp. So there I have it pressed in, where now it's all smooth and plumb, or level with each other. And we're just gonna keep on moving down, clamping them together, and then nailing it up. All right, so as you can see now, we have gotten the one longest wall up here. It's all nailed into place, top and bottom, as well as it's all plumbed with each other, like I just mentioned before. So this is a perfect time to talk about how you're almost always problem solving as you're doing your own DIY work. And I want to show you some of the issues we ran into. So as you can see up there, it damaged some of the drywall as we were lifting it up. And this is much more noticeable here. And the main reason why that was so is whether it's the drywall, whether it's the original framing, or whatever it may have been, nothing ever works out perfect. The bottom down here was wider than the top. That's exactly why there is a little hole and gash in the side, because as we were lifting it up, it was digging into it just because it was a tighter fit at the top. So right here, that's where we're building our new wall, and we've already have it lined up to where we want it to be, or the size of the room. The difference between this methodology, or what we're doing here, we'll first be installing the bottom plate here, so we'll nail that in just like normal. And then we'll mark where the studs go, as I mentioned before, as you saw before. So then we'll have them up vertical. And then we'll be installing the top plate across. So that way it's a perfect fit all along, and we're not scratching all these walls as we're lifting it up. And we can cut each one of these studs to the right size it needs to be. If there is a discrepancy between the height on this side compared to on the left side, which again typically happens just because nothing is ever perfect measurements. There's always a little bit of wiggle room, whether it's the drywall or the framing or the wood or anything like that. So then we'll show you that process as we're going about it. So we just got done installing the 2 top plates, as well as I mentioned for the bottom one. And same process, still just lined it up, shot them upwards into studs. That's the one big thing to remember. But I also did want to mention this fun thing about the clamps. So we were just using one there and one over here, just to alleviate some of the weight. That way it was a little bit easier for to hold the framing gun and to nail it in. So that's a fun fact. Now what we're doing next is measuring all the studs for each one, and then we're gonna bring it over, and then we'll be using these lines on the bottom as well as on the top to measure up the studs, or to line them up, and then we'll install them there. Alright, so I just wanted to grab the camera and cut back in to explain something. One of the biggest differences you'll notice if you install the walls like this, where again we put the bottom plate and the top plates up first, when you're installing these studs here, instead of shooting them straight into it, you do have to shoot it from the sides, which inherently moves the stud a little bit. So be sure that when you're shooting it, you're going to shoot in one side, it's going to move, and as you saw in the video, I was using a hammer to adjust it. Then you'll go on the other side and shoot it in again, and then make those final adjustments. That way it stays steady to where it needs to be. So something that I need to do for this addition build out here is build the headers above these different doors around. And I wanted to show you all how we're actually going about that as well. So first thing is to look at the actual header itself. We're using a 2x8 here. The main reason is that's what all the rest of the doors around here have. So we're just matching it up to that. And I feel like that just makes sense for this one. There's a lot of technical reasons, which I'm sure that you could definitely look and you should consult for your own usage of this, but we're just following what was already installed there. And these are already pre-cut to the same size. I don't know if the camera will show it perfectly, but we already measured that part, and the width of this is the opening of your door. So basically the end of one king stud or the beginning to the other side. So it'll fit perfectly plumb end to end within the top of your doors. And then as far as the thickness goes, so right, you still need to fit the you still need to fit the header within the parameters of this 2x4. That's what I'll actually show how to put that together. So we have these 2x8s and then this little LVL here that we'll put together, or this OSB that we'll put together to make it equal this width perfectly. So then we're now going to cut to the next part here where I'll show you putting it all together. As you can see, we're having a close-up now with the header. We have 2 of the 2x8s as well as this piece here. And I do want to get a little bit technical to explain why there's 2 of them as well as this smaller piece. So when you look at the actual measurement here of the 2x8, it'll be 1.5. So we have 2 of them to equal 3 inches, as well as this small piece here, which is another 1/2 inch, which gives us 3.5 inches, which then matches, as I mentioned before, the width of your 2x4s when you're installing this above your door. So that's the reason why we have it the way we have it. So now let's move into how we're putting them together. There's a couple different tools that we'll be using. Some screws, wood screws. I still need to grab the drill actually. The wood glue, as well as some clamps to hold it down. What we'll be doing is stacking these on top of each other, very similar to how it is right there. 2x6 or 2x8 on the bottom, then the other piece, then this one on top. And then we'll be gluing those all together layer by layer using the clamps to hold it down, drilling them in to hold them sturdy together on both sides. And then after that, we'll add our top and bottom pieces, those other 2x4s. But that's why I did want to cover how we're building these headers, just in case you have to do that yourself. All right, and that's how we put together a header. If you ever need to do that on your own, it's pretty straightforward. The big test though is to make sure it fits along your 2x4. And I don't know how well that'll show, but that is a perfect snug fit, flush with both ends of it. And that's it. I still do have to install these on the tops and the bottoms, but for as far as this header section goes, that's all you'll need to do.
Hey guys, we're gonna give you a tour of our addition we just built. We just finished all the framing, all the electrical's done, framing's done, half of the drywall's done, HVAC is done. We do have to add drywall, so follow me. We already showed you guys this wall, but right here we're gonna be doing our double French doors. They're 6x8, we're super excited about them. It doesn't really give you justice how tall it is. I'm 5'9". So you can kind of see how big these doors are going to be. So right here, this is just kind of an opening wall into the addition. We're not exactly sure what to do yet, so if anyone has ideas, feel free to give them to us. Also, don't mind the mess. You know how it is when you live and renovate, there's always a disaster. And when you work with your family, no one cleans up after themselves. So,
ooh,
ouch,
I'm not taking that personally.
Okay, so we'll just start on this side first. So right here, this is our hallway entrance. Before, it was just a standard 6-foot door or 6-foot height ceiling. But we decided to extend it as the max height just to give it more of a grand look. If you come this way, Dee, you should show. So on the end of the hallway, we did a window on purpose just to give it more of like a modern open look, but also get the natural lighting. But it's really cute. This window actually, when spring comes, this tree blooms really pretty flowers. So I'm sure we'll get that eventually. Let's start in the laundry room. Okay, over here, this is our laundry room. All of the electrical, everything's done. So we're not exactly sure on the setup and how everything's gonna go yet. We just know our washer and dryer is gonna go on this back wall. But stay tuned, of course we're gonna post what we'll do as we do it. Right next to the laundry room, we have a flex room. We're not really sure what we're gonna do here. It might be a guest room, but it also might be an office. So on this side, there's 4 really pretty big windows, so. And then across from that, there's this bedroom.
And whose bedroom is this?
This is my bedroom. One thing about my bedroom, so these bedrooms on the other side, but these 2 giant windows, when we installed them and picked out the windows, we didn't really consider that there's not very many windows that open with screens. So we're actually going to be tearing all these out and replacing them this week. So those 2 will get replaced and we'll show you in B's room. So my room, I'm really excited. I purposely left that wall blank just so I could do an accent wall or something cute. And then right into here, this is going to be my bathroom, which is a really good size. I made my doors a little bit smaller just because I wanted max wall space, just because I have a lot of stuff. And then right in here is my closet. Don't mind my stuff, I had to move it out of the other spaces. So out here in the living room, we're not really sure what we're gonna do because there's so much space, but we were thinking maybe like a pool table, shuffleboard, I don't know, kind of like a hangout space for the older.
For all you DIYers, this is an investment everyone needs. Best investment ever. We all take turns on it every night. It's a massage chair if you guys were wondering what that actually was.
Okay, now in here it's a little bit dark because we have our wires up but no lighting. But this is it's another flex space, either a guest bedroom or an office, we're not sure. But where it is, there aren't windows in this room. We were thinking it would be great for a bunk room or something of the sort as well. Or our brothers want us to do a VR room. Okay, and now this is V's room. There's a lot of really natural light because of the windows. Like I said in my room, these 2 windows in her room are gonna be ripped out and replaced. Not really looking forward to that, but that's part of building, I guess. So yeah, her bed will most likely, I'm assuming, go on this wall. And then this door right here, this goes to her closet, which she has an amazing closet. So, she's kind of in the corner, but how big is your closet? This is the end of her closet.
20 feet by 7 feet is my closet. I chose to have a small room so I could have a bigger closet.
It's all about sacrifices. Okay, and then this is gonna be her bathroom. I'm not exactly sure her setup yet. I'm guessing the shower maybe right here, toilet on this side, and then vanity somewhere over here. But her bathroom's a really nice size as well. And that concludes the addition tour. What we have next to do is drywall, mudding, get all of our walls up, and then we'll be doing room by room, which is the fun part.